as we go behind enemy lines.
Well, good day, Dragons fans. I'm Big T, and welcome to a special edition of Behind Enemy Lines. Round 20, the Bulldogs. Before we welcome our guest in, I'll just run through the threat team. We have Connor Tracy at the back, Jacob Carraz and Jethro Rinakama on the wings. Ernie Tuala and Stephen Crichton in the centres. Matt Burton and Lockie Galvin in the halves. Wow. Max King, Reid Marnie, Sam Hughes, Viliami Kickout, Jacob Preston, and Jamin Salmon locks the scrum. It's coached by Cameron Serraldo. Kurt Mann, Harry Hayes. What a great football name Harry Hayes is, eh? It's a great name for football. Josh Curran and Bailey Hayward. Satilia Tupanua, 18th man. He's a return. Blake Wilson, Daniel Saluka Fafita, Curtis Moran, and Toby Sexton on the extended bench. Welcome, Mark Michael from All Things Bulldogs. How are you, mate? Tell us about yourself and where you're from.
G'day, mate. My name's Michael from All Things Bulldogs. Tragic Bulldogs fan. I'm from Wagga Wagga and then Bucka. I've been living in Brisbane and Queensland for a long time, and I got sick of typing about the Bulldogs, so I started talking about them and built a big community. And
Nice.
We go live every Tuesday and sometimes a few more times. And I'm also one to stick it to the media. And get stuck right into those mothers.
They make things up, I reckon.
We're on this channel, or we're not a swearing channel?
After 8:30 we are. Yeah, so we'll keep it PG. We'll keep it PG at the moment.
We have some kids watching sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, look. If you get stuck into me, I might get a little bit upset. You never know, and start swearing. But
get some of your cousins to come by. Well, you guys were flying, and then you've had two close losses, a close win in the last three. That's since Galvin signed with the club. Before that, you were flying, you're winning by 30, and he joins the club. You lose two by very little, and you lose one by 4 points. Is he a chink in the armour? The Dogs didn't need it. What does Cameron Serraldo think? He's going to go well against the Dragons.
Really nice question, and I'll give you my answer. Be prepared, take notes. Look, Cameron Serraldo, I think people are labelling him as the next super coach with good reason. He's had a very good grounding, and if you look at the number of kids he's brought through at Penrith to the amount of, I think they're up to 1,500 games, just the squad that he coached in 2015. So
wow.
He's got a pretty good idea. Gus has got a pretty good idea. They've pioneered changes in the game, which Shane Flanagan, I see this week, has still not caught on to that. But not to say the Dragons can't win. I think the Dragons are very close to a win, but getting back on track. Lachlan Galvin's introduction, people are going to believe what they want. There's an opportunity to get that kid. He was overvalued by his own club in order to make it untenable for everyone. Shane Richardson united his own club, and I did a big article on this as soon as this happened. I didn't even think he would come to the Bulldogs at that time, where essentially he knew that they weren't coming. He offered, if you look at their salary cap, there's no way they had $1.1 to $1.2 million a season for this kid. And basically, he's been absolutely smashed in the media ever since.
Yes,
and once Braithen Astor got it in his gut that the Dogs were going to get him, there's just been an unrelenting campaign ever since then. And people can come to their own conclusions about that. player manager staff, having kids that were at the same club that are now at Canterbury and are competing for that spot. But anyway, I'll leave that for people to think what they want.
Yep.
But Lachlan Galvin is a very talented young footballer. I found it interesting that some people are saying he was overrated and that Gus was just glazing him so he could sign him. If you know anything about Gus Gould, he makes relationships with young kids everywhere, with families, and those connections go on for a long time. He's more about the game than he is rugby, about Bulldogs, and getting this kid across to us is simply what we've had to do. Like, if you have a look at what everyone said about the Bulldogs, including Toby Sexton for a long time, is that he's a playing well, they're winning, but he's probably not a long-term option, and yada yada yada. They've put Galvin into the fray. The coach knows what his plan is. Like,
that's right. He must have had a plan before he signed Galvin, what he was going to do.
Well, the plan's the same. It's to get 24 to 25 players to the end of the season that are fit and firing and ready to go, and that have had a taste and have had some combinations built, to have 3 or 4 halves ready to go, because you're only, one bad training session from injuring yourself, or one HIA, or one suspension in where it slips up on a wet day, or whatever it is, from needing that combination. And whether Toby Sexton was going to play, that's the other context of it, is that it was Origin time. No one expected the Bulldogs to be on top. No one expected the Bulldogs to have Kurt Mann, Max King, Jacob Carraz all missing from the for Origin. We've had injuries and suspensions all year. I sort of don't think we've won any game easy. Like, we dominated the Dragons. They still nearly beat us. We had to beat them twice in round 1, and that thread's gone on for the whole season. And then we lost to the 2023 grand finalists by a combined total of 6 points, as you pointed out. And in those games, we should have won both of them. Was it Lachlan Galvin's fault? No. Was the mindset change? Well, if you go to the Parramatta game where he debuted, we set that game up over 60 minutes. Parramatta were flogged, and we put them to the sword. The boys thought that they were going to do that the next 4 games, and it didn't turn out that way, and we actually handed games to opposition. They didn't learn from it after the Penrith game, which gave the boys a lot of confidence, made them a bit flat as well. And then against the Cowboys, we just had to play 80 minutes of ugly football and get that victory. And, and look, the last part I want to say is that, how people were saying that they were shuffling positions to accommodate Galvin? Well, they swapped our left winger and our left centre to the opposite side of the field, because both those players have been carrying injuries for weeks. And Montoya's had to have surgery, and the players coming through needed to get some game time, needed to get a go. And we saw what happened when with Tuala and Renikama. They're probably 2 of the Bulldogs' best against the Cowboys. And, and they're there now. So that's just development, contingency plan, putting Burton to centre. Well, I didn't want Tuala defending on Katoni Staggs, who's a great centre, as you know, when you've got Matt Burton, who's probably the 5th choice New South Wales Blues centre. A good 5'8", if you can make a stronger team and put him out there to help with your defence and your combinations, you're going to do it. So is there a disruption? Of course there is. There's young kids in our pathways who are like, okay, well Galvin's there now. It's going to be harder for me. They might get a little bit restless. This time of year, it's happening to all clubs. You've seen your young fellow who come from the Bulldogs is going to Souths, I think, the halfback.
Glover.
Yeah, Jonah Glover.
We loved
him here. We loved him here.
I don't know why we didn't.
Opportunity because he saw Alex Conti coming to our club, and Mitch Woods was the prodigy, so he had to make way. This is what happens. It's not good. But look, I think there's a pathway to victory for the Dragons that we'll talk about. And
we will.
Yeah. So
Well, you just answered me next three questions, and
Fit out
I was
last
going to
year's
say,
another one that they took off a
hang on, showing on for a sec. We'll get to that. Bronson Sherry out, big loss. So was Montoya. And you just answered that question, Chihuahua and Rinakama.
Yep.
Can you tell us a bit about Rinakama?
Yeah, so I've been Mad Tragic, talking about him for quite a while. As he's come through our Harold Matts, he's come through that squad with Mitch Woods and the like, and there's quite a few of them that have played together and are starting to make their mark. And, you know, a couple of pre-seasons and they'll do well. But this kid, the way he's grown this year has been quite surprising how good he is in the contact. He's still going to grow probably another 5 to 8 kilos and maybe another inch taller. He's sort of in the frame of a Jason Saab, but I would suggest might be a bit classier.
Is he that tall?
What was that?
How tall is he?
Oh, I don't know. He's pretty tall and he's getting taller.
Yeah, fine.
Lanky Fijian. But yeah, we saw how well he went last week. Hopefully he doesn't get second game syndrome, which can happen. And Tuala, you know, just a good toiler, but I swear he looks like a better player than what the one in 1 or 2 games I've seen.
Yeah.
People are saying he's slow. Dogs fans are very critical, as are all NRL fans now.
Yeah, that's right.
But the way, if you go and look at the try that the Bulldogs scored just before half time, big run from Carraz, shift out to the left, and the way Tuala accelerated into the final line of defence rather than slowing down to pass is a real classy bit of rugby league that we don't see enough of. And I think Critter's got a lot to do with that, because you saw in the Origin game he did the same thing in game 1, just accelerating into that final bit. Defenders will work it out, but often players have to slow down before they pass, and they butcher so many tries. But anyway, but
with that back line with Sherry and Montoya, it's a class back line. Even putting Chihuahua and Rinakama in there it makes it just as good. So I watched Rinakama last week. He's a good player.
I'll only make this quick. If we can't control your middles, and our middles are a bit underdone last week, they needed the run, which is why we were horrible the first 20 minutes, and much better when our energy come on off the bench. If the Dragons can punch holes in that and get some balls out wide, probably early balls, our edges will be under pressure, because there is a combination gap there and a cohesion issue. You need that combination still only fresh. So there's opportunities there. But our right edge has been the edge that's been giving up the points, the edge with Stephen Crichton and Preston and Toby.
Okay.
So
let's mention the next question.
Train's only going to tell him.
Yeah, ring him up. Yeah, we will. We'll ring him up. Let him know. I was asking you, talking about middles and edges, what matchups are you looking forward to? Who against who? What are you looking forward to?
Oh, it's always good watching Kikau come up against Sewer. Sewer's he plays right edge, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I think he does, yeah.
I think Kikau's really put a din on him the last few games, and Sewer will need to stand up to that.
Well, Sewer's been our best player for the last couple of games, I thought.
It doesn't seem to matter. I remember he was in the Origin frame when the Dogs weren't going that well, and we've won the last 4 against the Dragons.
Well, we haven't won since 22.
Yeah. I think he's beat us at Belmore maybe the last time.
That was 22. Blake Laurie got his first try, Big T.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good, cool.
It was a high-scoring game. It was good.
He hasn't scored many more.
It was real windy that day too. Really windy.
Who's been your most improved player this season?
Oh, that's a hard one, but
it is.
Look, Connor Tracy would lead our daily endpoints. Obviously, and just the progression of a lot of players. I thought Burton was going to have a good year, but he's had a bit of injuries and suspensions and stuff. Reid Marnie's had a good season. Jacob Preston, I could name heaps of them. But the progression of Bailey Haywood, Harry Hayes, and obviously Kurt Mann makes us a much better team. So,
who do you think's most dangerous in the Dragons, and who do you need to keep quiet in the Dragons team?
well, he's got a lot of strike. Like you've got.
That's right. Yeah.
Ryan Holmes is a winner. He's copped some flack. You know, the young fella. I watched that SG ball team dismantle the Bulldogs side, who I thought was pretty good. And I'm glad we got Latu Finau, but probably had two other big forwards in there. And I think one of them's on your extended bench, who was probably even more impressive in that game. So, look, I think they're, you've got the experience there. I think, it's hard. You need to basically be able to assert dominance through the middle as a team and really play a high possession match if you're going to win and force us into errors. And if you can't do that, it's going to be a struggle. Straight forward. If you can get that possession, get us just to a point of exhaustion. Players like Sully are always going to put dents in you and score tries. You're not going to stop him. And I also think Terrell Sloan picking up a loose ball could be very dangerous for us, or, just getting on our outside. Look, the Dragons have to win this game if they want to talk about keep playing finals and keep their hopes up, and they'll be thinking that. So for the Dogs, it's more about this basically the season's restarting for us. This is the final phase as we go into it. We're qualified for the top 8. We now need to make sure we get to the top 4. And this is a huge danger game. And there's a lot of strike there for the Dragons. They've just got to be able to unlock it as a team. And look, we normally see the edge back rowers have a bit of a say in these games, but your little men are a huge key. Damien Cook, Jacob Little.
Yeah.
Very Little is faster than most backs, as you know. And look, this is where I think that your coach, not that he needs me to tell him what to do, is making the mistake because everyone's moving to small ball and he's stuck in big ball, I guess. And, I'd be moving Kyle Flanagan to hooker and getting Ilias up there because they defend exactly the same. And Ilias has probably got a better kicking game. He just probably asks more questions and makes more errors.
He hasn't got a look in at the Dragons, Ilias.
He hasn't played
at the Dragons. Everyone's saying nepotism. He's picking his son because he's his son, and you can't see that from time to time. But I don't think Kyle's playing that bad to be dropped.
He's trying his best, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
it's hard with Kyle. Look,
it's hard.
I stood up for Kyle for 3 years, and defensively he tries his heart out. He's just so telegraphed with his kicks. He takes too long. I can't stand the way he's been treated by the social media people who think that's how you support your club. I think that's disgraceful, and it's happening in all clubs. And look, they were talking about freedom of speech. Well, the Dragons put forward their freedom of speech. They blocked him on social media. So there you go.
There you go.
I think that I think your other fella, King Togia, is a real talent, and he's just learning at the moment.
He's got to be patient. We're going to be patient with him.
He's not. He's 19. He's a baby.
That's right.
Well, exactly. Well, look what Bennett did with Katoa. If you go and watch his first season, there was games for 25 minutes where he did nothing.
Yeah.
Hardly touched the ball.
He'll be good for this year.
Now look at him.
He's the next New South Wales halfback.
You think Katoa?
100%.
Yeah, he's a good player. He come from the Penrith system. They put out some good players out of the Penrith system.
Kyle's a stopgap. Put him in hooker.
Oh, well, exactly right. Flano's
when Gus Gould moved him to hooker, right? Yeah. He actually is more of a threat at the line because he doesn't sit there. He doesn't have time to think or look the part when he's passing the ball or anything like that. He just plays what's in front of him, and he's at the line already. So teams can't sort of because teams give him no respect. They just hang off him and move to the next player. That's why why
Is
it's
it?
so
Yeah.
hard to do anything on your edges with Kyle, because he isn't a running threat.
You know what he's going to do.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
you have any questions there, Jess?
Yep. Yeah, I want to say, so Tilly Trevino hasn't played a lot of football this year. He's been suspended. He's been injured, but the depth that Sorrello has built at that club, like it's like the Melbourne Storm used to do and Penrith. Like they chuck anyone in there and then they do the job. What do you think it is that Sorrello is coaching from right for the whole squad, that whoever plays does their job and knows what they need to do?
Well, it comes down to, people talk about the system, but everything in the lower grades. It's about bringing leaders to the club, which they've done. But if you really got your eyes open, it's about developing footballers. If you look at our team, Satili Tupanua was a centre. Harry Hayes was a centre. Josh Curran was a centre. They're all debuted at the Bulldogs in the middle of the field off the bench. You know, we've got Bailey Hayward, who could barely tackle on the edge a couple of years ago as a halfback, leading the line speed and chopping the biggest men in the game down. There's definitely so what I'm saying is that they've just got so much competition now through our pathways. They've brought a lot of kids from all over, and from our pathways which have been developed, and that competition with our local 12 clubs. You know, Moorebank and we've got the St George Dragons is one of our 12 clubs, as you know. That's made their pathway harder, and that's just lifting the standard all the way up. And those kids just see the challenge. Like the Bulldogs have brought in players, and the kids have accepted the challenge. And some of these players were brought in on contracts haven't even got a go, because the juniors have just outworked them, out-earned it, and got their start. And a lot of that's to do with Phil Gould.
I wish we had kept him.
Ivan Cleary said, Gould knows that the success of our club is attributed to him by the way I coach, because I coach in his mirror image sort of thing. But he probably had to leave for us to actually take the next step. And it's probably, and Serrato's been a part of that whole thing. And you look how Andrew Webster's going, that's not the end of them, you know. And the Storm influence, very much influenced by a Bulldogs mentality from years ago. You know, with Chris Anderson going there and how they manage their caps, and forget about the dodgy way they did it, but how they look at their spine and having the class players in the spine. If you go back to the old Bulldog sides, our best players were our 7, our 6, our 1, and our 9 usually, and that's just continued to go through. And Bellamy, and you know what Bellamy does? He, as you said, gets those players that you haven't heard of, and all of a sudden
they're superstars.
You know, they don't miss a tackle. They run on the field where they're supposed to. They work their ass off, and he's been doing it for years. But interestingly enough, Cameron Serrato, at the same stage as Bellamy after 3 years, has developed more state of origin players. So there you go.
And your thoughts on so Reid Marnie's moving on as well. There's talk that Bailey Hayward's going to take on that role once Marnie goes. Do you think it's unfair that? What do you take on the Reid Marnie? Why the Dogs are pushing him out? Do you think it's due to cap space? He is a liability as well. What's your take on that?
All of the headlines have literally got nothing on the actual situation. So I actually saw a post from his brother after we lost to the Broncos, way before Galvin had left their club or anything like that, or was going to leave their club. And it basically said, someone praised Bailey Hayward, and it said, so his brother's come on and said, well, if Bailey Hayward's that good, just let Reid go now. Why are you keeping him there if you're not going to extend him? So basically, his manager is one of Gus's only really good friends, and Sam Ayub went to Gus and said, look, Reid, we've got expansion happening. Reece Robson's just left the Cowboys. He's a Queenslander. There's an opportunity for Reed to grow his income and extend his career and get some certainty around what he's doing. He wants to stay here, though. He wants to be a part of this. And he's a pretty emotional guy. And Gus said, so we just can't make that guarantee. And, and if you look at the way these good sides manage their hookers, Penrith let Appy go on pretty low money. And Mitch Kenny's not on huge money. So I think that system doesn't put the money that's Reed Marnie deserves. So basically he was like, can I get a release? And that was before the season. So all that stuff that come out at the end of the year, they weren't concerned about his discipline or anything. Reed Marnie's one of the toughest, gutsiest players in the comp, who in 2023 got singled out by every front rower and just literally put his face on the line every game. And and this grubbery stuff, yeah, I know it's annoying when that arrogance, the way they look more so, but when they're like, But honestly, suspenders, big blokes want to punch little blokes anyway. Like,
yeah.
It's called short man syndrome for a reason.
It is. It is.
So yeah, he's got a red line to be able to do what he does, and that's always going to bring you a brain snap here and there, you know. But I love Reed Marnie. Most of the club loves him, and the transition to Bailey Hayward. The reason Hayward's started the last few games, playing a lot of minutes, is to prepare him for that. But there's a few young hookers we've got there that maybe we keep a Jake Turpin because defensively he pretty much offers what Marnie does, but he can't kick the footy and he's probably not as creative. But yeah, just as a backup, we might keep him. He's a tough little, gutsy little player. But yeah, there could be an opportunity for the Dogs to actually go and buy someone. I'm not sure who it'll be. But I think we'll need more than just Bailey Hayward if we're going to do what we want to do. So there. Yeah.
All right then, Jess.
And I'm not sure if you're following the NRLW, but the Dogs, they've joined the comp this year. They've started with 2 good wins, and they've built quite a good side.
Yeah, well, look, I've had zero expectations. In the first game, like the first 5 minutes, we looked way off the pace, no line speed, nothing. But then we got into our groove, sort of played like Bulldogs. Bulldogs have had a lot of games where they look like they weren't the better side game and just somehow managed to win it. I think Tony might have seen a few of those games where you just go, how the Dogs beat us that day.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't. Happens all the time with the Dragons.
The 2 sisters go head-to-head this week, don't they, Big T?
They do go head-to-head, Alexis and Trinity. Trinity and her sister, Alexis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, there's the team. There's the team there. Yeah, when Trinity was asked, is she Alexis' sister? She goes, no, she's my sister.
There you go.
Yeah. So there's the team there.
Andy Robertson at fullback has been really strong for the Dogs the first 2 games. She didn't get to play last year apparently through
ACL
injury.
at the Sharks. Yeah.
Taylor Preston has been was playing for the Dogs, Harvey Norman's team, and then they could go and play NRLW, but they changed the schedule so it's on at the same time now.
Yeah.
So she had to go to Cronulla and couldn't play for us the last couple of years in that. So she's always had that game. Holly Wheeler, real tough player.
Yep, we had her for a long time, didn't we, Big T?
We did. Also,
off the bench.
Alexis Tournier and also
Egan Dimmick.
Yeah, Tournier was your player of the year last year, wasn't she?
Yeah.
With Tiakaronga
She's really good.
Yeah. Jess, have you got the names there? Because I'll just put SMM for number 21.
That one is Shequela Mahakitau Monshao.
Wow,
There you
what a
Can
name.
you say that, Big T?
No, not yet. Not yet.
He's our linguistics expert, Michael.
Not yet. Not yet.
I'm not saying it. But look,
No, I'm not.
look, the dogs have had a really
But you
good
can say
pathway
Tino.
with our kids, with
I was
our
saying Tino, yeah.
Lisa Fiala and that. There's a lot of girls there that some of those NRL women's sides wouldn't know much about, that are potentially gonna set the world on fire for the Dogs.
And Hope Millard will debut this week. She's actually a Steelers junior.
Oh, is she?
Yep.
Is she related? Is that Daryl Millard's daughter?
No, it's Shane Millard's daughter.
Shane Miller. Oh, there you go. Even better.
Shane Millard coaches our Jersey Flag side. So
Yep.
Hope's older sister is in our squad as well.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
it's
and
good
Tegan Dimmick is Jim Dimmick's daughter.
yeah. Well,
Tegan
we love
started
Jim
her
Dimmick.
career at the Dragons.
See,
Well, another
all of us
one.
Bulldogs fans got our way. Jim Dimmick would have been our coach, and we would never would have got Cameron Serrato. So there you go.
But the coach of
This
the
is
women's
the
team.
chance to end that one.
Braden Williams,
Coach of
he's
the
an
women's
Australian
team.
too.
Hey?
There's ex-Dragons everywhere. Braden Williams is an ex-Dragon.
But how many Hopawati's been enormous as well? There's Hopawati's everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Bit of
just the
family
DNA
connection there.
in that family.
They mustn't have a TV. I'm telling you, they haven't got a TV.
You look, there's been I
Very,
don't know if
very
you've heard about
devoted
it.
people.
The dogs have had family connections with this team with Jim Dimmick and Tegan, obviously. Taylor Preston's dad played for the Dogs many years ago, I think it was.
Yep.
And Parney Hopawati's brother Will played for the Bulldogs. So there.
There you go. And Lehigh's playing for Manly, and but
There's another one at Canberra. Is there one at Canberra?
That's Albert, yeah.
yeah, Albert, yeah, he was at the Dogs for a bit too, but he kept doing his knee.
Yeah, some players you just don't get to be a good player because of injury.
And the Steelers have one too. Liesl Hopawati.
There
Wow.
you go.
Wow.
So there's a few of them around.
All right, Jess, you want to wrap that up now?
Yep. Well, thanks for
Hey, thank you to our guest.
thanks for coming on, Michael. We'll give you the final. So give us your take on what will happen in both games this weekend, and who do you think will be a try scorer in both games, and what are your thoughts on the results?
Oh, I think Taylor Preston's going to continue on a merry way. Keeping the team together, and they're just going to work hard like Bulldogs and run hard, work hard, and get things done. And Andy Robinson out the back will be taking good care of it. For the Dragons game, the Dogs to be out there. A lot of Dogs fans are expecting a statement from the Dogs to go and smash the Dragons. I don't think that's happening. I think every point we get will be hard earned, and the Dragons will be in this fight for a long time. But if the Bulldogs restrict the Dragons' meters like we do everyone else and get those big fellas, under exhaustion, anything could happen. But I think the Dragons will be up for it, and I think the Dogs by 22 points to 8. Getting a try late.
Get a try late, and that's nice.
And what about in the NRLW game, the Dogs and the Dragons? What do you think the score will be in that one?
Oh, I think it'll be 12-10 Bulldogs.
Well, there you go. 2 losses again to the Dragons. But no, we think a little bit different than you do, so we'll tell our tips later. Thanks for coming on, mate. Hope you enjoyed your time. You're our first Bulldogs fan to come on. We've had two or three lined up. And they pulled out the last minute, so I'm glad you turned up. Thanks for coming in, mate.
My
Bulldogs,
pleasure, mate.
they're going to go well this year. I don't think Galvin's going to be too much of a chink. Once he gets into the grind of things, the Bulldogs will start rolling again.
You want to tell us a bit about your show as well?
He can get from the left to the right to the left to the right and back again really, really easily. He's just a bundle of energy. He just needs to make his tackles, and that's the main thing. That's what we're.
And you're from All Things Bulldogs, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, you're on what 7:30 Tuesdays normally.
Normally between 7:15 and 8 o'clock sometime then, just depending on what's happening.
All right. We've got a few Doggies fans that do watch us, so they might find you and come over and see you. So you might be stealing a few of our fans.
So tell us about where we can find your pod if there's anyone's interested watching.
So All Things Bulldogs on YouTube. Sometimes I put it on Spotify and stuff as well, but it's usually live on YouTube. And it's a very balanced commentary. We don't bag our players on All Things Bulldogs. You know, unless they walk out the door and they've got a bad attitude or something like that. But very much a supporters channel, not an outrage.
That's all we are. We're just a bunch of mugs telling everybody what we think and
our opinions. Yep.
If they don't like it, I don't care.
They don't watch it. Yeah.
I don't tell my coach what to do. I just tell everyone what I think the coach is going to do, and you get it right.
Exactly.
That's what we say.
Exactly. Yeah, and if he hears us, he can use our plans too. So we don't mind that. All right, Michael. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see everybody else at 7:30 on this channel.
We'd like to have you back on to preview the Vegas game next year as well.
Oh yeah, that'd be good.
Definitely.
You going to Vegas?
Go somehow, but
yeah, hopefully I get to go. But I've got to win lotto.
Yeah, me too. Well, if I go, I've got to take the missus, and we've got to get married and stuff over there.
Oh, jeez. By Elvis?
That's going to be what I'll need 15 grand if I'm going to go over there.
You get married by Elvis?
Yeah, that's it. Married by
All right, mate. Thanks very much. Love your time. Hopefully, we'll see you again sometime soon.
Thanks, Big T. Thanks, Jesse.
All right,
Thanks
mate. No worries.
Thanks for coming on. And that's
it. Guys.
So come on, Dragons fans.
Fire up!
Go the Dogs!
Go the Dogs.
Coco is at Penal's heart, she wears it on her sleeve. As Master tells tales of Dragons wins and tuna victory. Tony and the MP crew will do their very best. Getting off topic and I digress with a red V on our chest. The Mad Dragon Podcast is a sheep of camaraderie. Navigating rants down rabbit holes in the land of big wet feet. And so our peddlers weave the tales and our friendship is our dream. The Mad Dragon Podcast